became one of my favorite topics when I was selling desserts at an espresso shop. A poem called The Heart of Chocolate. Into the heart of chocolate, cheesecake, mousse, cookie, and pie, homemade hot fudge, thick and creamy, dribbling over the melting Haagen-Dazs perched on the chocolate croissant. Oh, chocolate thing, take me into the heart of chocolate, where the calories are natural and don't amount to much if you count by threes. Swiss and Belgian, Lindor and Lindt, chipped from 50-pound blocks into chunks, wrapped in cookie dough, baked in syrup warm. Only one bite takes me into the heart of chocolate. So much for food there. Let's see. Another of the things I do is travel some. I spent some time in Washington, D.C. And while I was traveling around DuPont Circle, I saw these posters for a performance poetry space called Javarama. And the posters were real interesting. They had the word love written totally across the poster, and it was performance poetry on love. And I went there and was very surprised and a little bit dismayed at what I saw. And this is, I watched Kramer books afterwards, and this poem came out. Javarama, black ceiling, brick wall, stark. Screaming ego meets screaming ego. In the name of love, they scream. One of sex, explicit and degrading. Male ego oozing a lust to dominate. Salivating in arrogance that drowns it. Screaming ego under the banner of love. Met with righteous ego screaming. And anger reaching arrogance when it won't let go. Won't pause to feel the softness its lips disservice. Another screaming ego under the banner of love. Yeah, and on that same trip, and sort of in my wanderings around, I wrote this one called Off DuPont. On D.C. streets, the city steam brings the night to life. The families on the stoops and the old men on the corner. The conversations go and everyone knows the neighbors. On D.C. streets, my white face stands alone to see the patterns of society unfamiliar to me. Old fears and prejudice like waves run through. Breathe in, transcend, then look through the shroud of ignorance to glimpse the richness in another's way of life. I walk alone the D.C. streets on a city night, pausing a moment, a stranger smiles. Now I'll wrap up my little segment here on the show. I'll get back with just a couple more. Sort of a stream of consciousness one. I can't figure out exactly what my attitude is, so I write several. Hard liquor and acquaintances, they're watching even if they don't complain. Keep that in mind as the liquor starts to speak. The truth may hurt those virgin ears. Honesty, like modesty, will get you nowhere, is what they say. And they have reason to say that, don't you know? Relying on common sense, like the intellectual cites the great mind, no one bothers to use their own head. Some say that's a sign of our times. But old granddad told me, hear what's inside you, boy. There ain't no other choice. Well, I thought I'd do more from my Salt Lake City experience, but I'll do one of them. And this is one of my exit poems from Behind the Zion Curtain. White boys on the desert, make this land your own. White boys on the desert, drag the water from the stone. White boys on the desert, show no sympathy, for tolerance is weakness, a thing a man can't be. Sea of salt, sun that bites, a way of life that keeps you tight. White boys on the desert, you made a God that keeps you right. God is good, but your God is might. White boys on the desert, tear the minerals from the earth. White boys on the desert, you pollute the universe. White boys on the desert, you can know no sin, for tolerance is weakness, a thing you don't let in. Coming from there to Worcester, I ran into this one called Beauty Always Passes. Yesterday, a frozen pond spoke to me of change. The trees, with voices cracking, whisper patience. Orion surveys the scene. The wooded calm surrounds me, arresting urban thoughts. Striving ceases to let me hear that beauty always passes. The fragile butterfly alights, the cruel wind gales, beauty always passes. And my last poem on what I hope is a more hopeful note, but these days it's sort of trying to, this is the one that kind of wraps up, condenses my politics. And I wrote it after reading in the Worcester Telegram a quote that was attributed to Robert Kennedy, words to the effect that every time an individual would take a stand or make a gesture for an ideal, that no matter how small that gesture was, that person could send forth a tiny ripple of hope. So I wrote this poem. Gently, like water cracking stone, the droplet finds the granite's fault and changes the face of the mountain with persistence and patience. Man, that joke just ain't funny, Bobby said. The locker room was silent as he shut the door behind him. Gently, like water cracking stone. Back to your open reading.
No, first we'll give you all a big hand.
Yeah, that was a really excellent show. Let's give another hand for the new Renaissance minstrels visual poetry with synthesizer, Celtic harp, zither, and scarf juggling with Timothy Mason, Marienne, Kreitlow, and Christopher Rowan. Thank you very much for coming.